people I recognize. If anyone's popped in that doesn't know me, I'm Rachel Peters. I'm a physical therapist in Palo Alto, and I also teach Pilates, clearly. We are going to go through a 45-minute class, full body, little balance, little range of motion, little mobility, and a lot of core, a lot of glute work, a lot of shoulder work also. So what I want you to think about throughout the class is take everything at your own pace. If there's something that isn't working for you during the class, please feel free to modify. I'll try to offer a couple different options. If one of my options doesn't work for you, go ahead and find something that does work for you during that time. If you do get confused or lost a little bit, take a second, close your eyes, listen to what I'm saying. And most of the time, I think you'll probably be able to figure out and join back with the rest of the class. We're going to start standing up today. We'll get our feet hip width apart. We're going to line up our heels right under our sit bones. And let's picture a string at the crown of the head, drawing us all the way up to the ceiling and dropping like a plumb line down to the floor. Okay, so our head's right over our trunk. The trunk is right over our pelvis. That pelvis is right over the middle of our ankle joints. So right where your laces would be if you were wearing sneakers is where you want to feel your center of gravity. From here, we're going to draw our bellies gently back to our spines, like we're taking a little seatbelt of muscles and tightening them. You're going to feel your two hip bones here in front. Those muscles are right between those two hip bones. They're holding you nice and still here. You want to feel the weight right in front of those arches. We're going to keep our hands right at that midsection. And let's shift our weight toward the toes and toward the heels. Keep both feet pressed into the floor. Keep those toes pressed down and your heels pressed down as you rock toward the toes and toward the heels. Pay attention to what you feel under your fingertips. You should feel some muscles changing their activation level as we hit those end ranges of our base of support. We're going to come right back to the middle of those ankles now and then shift our weight side to side. And if you move your fingertips to those waistlines, you'll feel the differences in what muscles are contracting as you move from foot to foot. One side works a little harder than the other as we shift. And now we can make some little circles around that base of support. Heels, sides of the feet, toes. Again, we're trying to keep the base of the big toe, the base of the pinky, and those heels pressed into the floor. Let's circle the other way, moving one line from that ankle all the way up to your head. Feel those muscles in the waist turn on and off as you go. We'll circle around one more time and then bring ourselves right back over that central base of support at our ankles. Let's take our hands down to our sides and bring our feet a little bit apart from each other, pointing our toes out as well. We can soften up those knees, settling that body down into the floor. Let's take a big breath in. Inhale through the nose, take those arms up. We're going to pause them in a Y shape. If those elbows are a little bent because of shoulder tightness, that's okay. We're going to keep that belly drawn back and let's sway side to side. We're going to take a side bend toward each of those top corners of the room. With the belly drawn back, we're really supporting ourselves through our trunk. You'll feel the top side of your body working as you open up away from it. Sway side to side. Pause at one side. We're going to drop that side's arm down by our ankle and reach those fingertips down toward those toes. We'll feel those muscles working a little bit more firmly in that area where the belly's drawn back. And then we can intensify that by taking our fingertips, reaching them toward that opposite foot. Big breath in, feel that stretch, maybe even all the way from pinky to waistline. We'll inhale up to that Y, exhale over to the other top corner, keeping that belly drawn in, and we'll take that other hand down to our foot, reach it down, pressing straight down to the floor. And then let's take that a little further by reaching those fingertips just a few degrees in the other direction toward that opposite heel. Big breath in, feel that stretch on that top side. We'll take our arms all the way up to the top and let's bring them out to the sides, lining our hands up with our shoulder height. Okay, so we're making a little star with our bodies and now we'll circle those shoulders back. We're just warming up those shoulder joints. Arms are going to be working quite a bit for us during this class. Circle those arms forward. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's bring our arms down by our sides. We're going to make a quarter turn so we're facing lengthwise along our mat. Let's bring our feet out till they're about shoulder width apart. We'll soften up those knees and let's take our tailbone back toward the back corner of our mat and let's hinge that body forward. We're moving from our hips, taking the body forward till we just start to feel a stretch through those thighs. We're going to hold here and let those arms float down to the floor. If you need to shift your weight forward or back towards your toes or towards your heels to feel comfortable, that's okay. Whatever works best for your comfort and stability is just fine. Wiggle those arms a little bit. Picture an elephant moving its trunk. Make sure they feel nice and loose. We're going to draw our bellies back toward the spine and then let's row. We're going to take our elbows by our sides, squeeze those shoulder blades together, and then extend those arms down toward the floor. Inhale, row, squeeze the blades. Exhale, hands come down. Inhale, squeeze. Exhale, release. Inhale, squeeze and hold. Let's keep our elbows right where they are, right by our sides. Straighten and bend those elbows. Straighten, feel those triceps working in the backs of the arms. Release the hands toward the floor. Straighten and bend. One last time, straighten. Let's bend those elbows. We'll reach our hands to the floor. Breathe in here, and as we exhale, bend those knees as much as you need to get your hands on the floor. A forward bend is fine with those legs straight if you feel you have the flexibility there. We're gonna walk ourselves forward, either to hands and knees or to a full plank position. Hold here or hold here. Let's take a big breath in and draw that belly in as we exhale. Let's now take our knees down to the floor. We're gonna line up our knees with our hips, elbows, wrists, and shoulders line up with each other. And let's move through a few cats and cows. Curl that belly toward the ceiling, look toward those thighs. And let's reverse that curve. Send that breastbone toward the wall in front of you, tailbone toward the ceiling. Curl to cat, reverse to cow. One more time here, curl to cat, reverse to cow. We'll come right back to neutral, and with that upper body nice and still, wag your tail side to side. Take a hip to a shoulder, folding that lower half of the body toward the upper half. Reverse it, curling the other way. Wag it side to side toward the screen and away. We'll bring it right back to neutral. Let's take our bottoms and rock them back toward our heels. And we're gonna come up nice and tall to that all four position again. Rock the bottom back. This time we'll hold it there. And let's take our arms and move them forward toward the front of our mat. Find that first stopping point, just like we did with our hamstrings earlier. Feel the length through those shoulder blades. Feel those side muscles stretch out as we take a big breath in. And breathe it out, dropping that forehead toward the mat. Let's take those forearms to the floor. We're gonna shift our body weight toward the forearms, and let's roll to our backs as we straighten out our legs. Once we're on our backs, our hands gonna be by our sides on either side. We're gonna line our heels up with those sit bones, and those kneecaps are gonna be pointed up toward the ceiling. Drawing that belly in, we're gonna picture a clock face on that abdomen and pelvis, 12 o'clock by the breastbone, 6 by the pubic bone, 3 o'clock by the screen, 9 o'clock to the other side. Let's rock that pelvis toward 12 o'clock, shortening our pubic bone up toward our breastbone, flattening the low back into the floor, and let's reverse. Reverse that curl towards 6. Shorten the pubic bone to 12. Lengthen it toward the floor for 6. One more time each direction, curl to 12. Release to 6. Let's take it back to neutral. Now let's rotate that pelvis toward our screen. 3 o'clock, hip bone on the other side rotates up to the ceiling. Coming back through neutral, and we'll rotate that pelvis toward 9. The hip closest to the screen comes up to the ceiling as the opposite hip contacts the floor. Taking it through neutral, we'll roll back to 3, through neutral to 9. One more time to each. Roll to 3, rotate to 9. Let's take ourselves back to neutral, drawing that belly down toward the spine. We're gonna take our arms up to the ceiling. Widen those collarbones away from the center of the body. You'll feel your shoulder blades and those outer borders of the shoulder blades press into the floor. Let's nod the chin gently toward the neck, lengthening the back of the neck down into the mat. And we're gonna reach our shoulder blades up to the ceiling and down to the floor. Keep that belly drawn down, reach them up, float them down. Keeping that pattern going, we can challenge ourselves a bit more by bringing one knee up to 90 degrees. And even further, as we keep those shoulder blades reaching up and down by bringing that other knee up to meet that leg in a tabletop position. Shins are parallel to the ceiling as if we're gonna balance something on them. Reach those blades up and down for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. We'll reach the blades down. Now that arm closest to the screen is gonna open out to the sides. Let's float that arm to the ceiling as we breathe in, opposite arm floats out. Inhale to the ceiling, exhale, float that arm out. Let's keep that pattern going. Your big goal here is to keep that breastbone nice and still, the area between the shoulder blades anchored into the floor, and that belly drawn towards your spine. Switch them off for 4, and lift. Here's 3, last 2, and 1. Bring those arms to the ceiling. Now we're gonna take our hands forward and place them right above our knees. We're gonna press our hands and knees toward each other, matching the resistance. We'll feel those muscles working from that pubic bone all the way up toward the breastbone, toward those lowest ribs. Let's straighten and bend our knees. Lift them to the ceiling, float those knees back to tabletop. Straighten the feet to the ceiling, float to tabletop. One more time, straighten up, Hold in there as you can, as straight as you can, keeping those backs of the thighs lengthened out. We're gonna nod the chin and reach those hands toward the wall in front of us. Keeping the belly down. If you'd like to curl that upper body up, you're welcome to. We're gonna pat our hands up and down. Breathe it in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. Keep that pattern going. If you'd like to challenge yourself in a different position, little step, half step in the opposite direction would be to be at tabletop. We could take a foot down, little kickstand. To make it more challenging, we take those legs toward the wall in front of us. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. Let's flip our palms around, press that air to the ceiling for 5. Exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. Keep stretching those fingers forward. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. Final time. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. Let's pause. We're going to flip those palms around to face the floor. We're going to bring both knees back to tabletop and take that upper body down to the mat. Keeping that chin lengthened down toward the neck. We're going to keep that belly drawn down. Let's pull the knee farthest from the screen into the chest, holding onto those shins. Let's stretch that opposite leg straight toward the wall in front of us, keeping it about a foot up off the ground. Inhale that knee to the center, switch your hands, press the opposite leg forward. Inhale, center, exhale, switch. We could nod the chin a little further, curl that upper body up if you'd like, and switch. Pull and press, pull and press. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to keep a hold of that bent knee, keep it pulled into the chest, take the upper body down if it's been lifted. Our opposite leg is stretched out toward that opposite wall. The quad's nice and tight, keeping that knee nice and still. Let's lengthen that leg down, touching the heel to the floor. And then picture your lower abdominals helping you as you draw that leg up, straight leg raise toward the opposite corner, top corner of the room. Lower and lift, lower and lift. Keep that leg straight as you can and your back nice and still. Lower and lift. One more time. Lower down, lift it up. We're going to lower that leg halfway to the floor, hold it there, and let's take it side to side, out away from the screen and then back to midline. Side to side. That chin is nodded toward the neck and we're gazing down past our chin. Twice more, side to side. Last one. All right, stretch that leg forward. We're going to keep our bellies drawn down, pull that opposite knee into the chest, switch your grip, hold on to that other thigh, stretch the opposite leg out till it's about a foot up off the floor. And with that belly drawn in, we're going to control that leg down to the mat. Use the abdominals to help lift that leg up toward that top corner. Control it down, lift it up, lower and lift. Twice more, lower toward the floor, reach to the corner. Last time, lower to the floor, reach to that top corner. Let's bring it down halfway, keep that belly drawn down, drop those shoulders if you need to, and we'll take that outstretched leg side to side toward the screen and back toward midline. Toward the screen, back toward midline. Twice more here, out and in. Out and in, hold it right there. Let's draw that straight leg all the way to the floor. Flip the grip, hold behind your thigh and stretch that other leg up to the ceiling. We can flex and point. Feel that tissue lengthen out all the way from heel to buttock. And then pointing those toes to the ceiling, let's take our hands down to the mat. We're gonna take that lifted leg side to side. Keep those hip bones pointed up to the ceiling like headlights, and the bones in the back of the pelvis anchored firmly into the mat. We could move side to side as far over to each side or as little over to each side as you need to maintain stability. And let's circle. You want to get the sense that you're stirring that thigh bone in its socket a bit. It's okay if that knee is bent. We're leading with our knee if the knee is bent. Pause at the top, take a big breath in, and exhaling, we're going to circle the other way. Here's 4. Here's 3, 2, and 1. Let's bend that knee to tabletop, draw the belly in, switch them up. Opposite knee comes up to meet that leg. We'll slide that leg we just stretched all the way along the mat, hang on behind that other thigh, and let's extend our leg up to the ceiling, flexing and pointing. Again, feeling that lengthening from heel to buttock. Pointing those toes toward the ceiling. Let's take our hands down by our sides And we'll bring that leg side to side. Again, keep those bones in the back of the pelvis pressed into the mat. Keep those hip bones pointing like headlights up to the ceiling. Side to side. Let's move through circles. Tracing that circle on the ceiling with your toe, with your knees straight. With that knee, if the knee is a bit bent. Pause at the top, big breath in. Exhaling, circle and move the other way. Here's 4. Stir that leg in its socket for 3. Final 2. And last 1. We're going to pause at the top, bend that knee to tabletop. Let's slide our other leg bent. Draw the belly down, bring it to tabletop to meet that leg. We're going to take our hands a little farther out to the sides, maybe 45 degrees away from the center of the body. Press your palms and your shoulder blades into the mat, and we're going to rock those knees toward our screen and away from our screen. We're using those hands to counterbalance what the lower half of the body's doing. The breastbone, those shoulder blades, and that chin are staying nice and still. You can lift your hip up on the side that we're moving away from. And maybe we take this a little bit different. Maybe we take our knees, straighten them out, bringing those feet toward the ceiling. Again, rocking those legs side to side. Draw the belly down. And let's move through some clockwise circles, counterclockwise circles on the ceiling. Pick a direction. Maybe we hover our hands up off the floor to challenge that trunk and pelvic stability here. Pause at the top, breathing in. As we exhale, let's circle the other way. Here's 4. 3, 2, look toward those toes, and 1. We're going to bring our feet up to the ceiling, bend those knees to tabletop. Let's float our arms back up to the ceiling. We anchor the blades down, the chin down, and that belly down. Let's take the arm closest to the screen, open it up back overhead, and extend the opposite leg out in front. Reach the hand and the foot as far away from each other as you can. Let's bring them through the middle and over to the other side. We'll reach through our long diagonals. We can stay right where we are, keeping that trunk nice and still, or we can nod the chin and curl that upper body up a bit. Alternate through those diagonals. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's bring those knees to tabletop. Arms float to the ceiling. We'll take that upper body down if it's been lifted, and let's flex our feet. We can shake them around a little bit if they've been pointed so long that they've gotten a little stiff. Flexing those feet, we're going to draw our bellies down, and let's take those heels toward the floor. 1 or both. Inhale and back to tabletop. Exhale, lower to the floor. Inhale, lift. Keep that pattern going. If you'd like to challenge it further, as the heels come down, those arms come back overhead. Keep your back nice and still and that belly drawn down. Lower and lift for 4. Exhale down. Inhale, lift for 3. Last 2. And last 1. We're going to anchor those heels to the floor. Reach those arms back overhead. Keep those elbows as straight as you can. Once your thumbs come close to or in contact with that mat, we're going to lower our toes to the mat as well and inch our heels a little closer to our bottoms. All right, palms are still facing in on each other. We're going to nod the chin gently toward the neck. We're going to drop that middle back right between the shoulder blades to the floor. Think about dropping your lowest ribs toward the mat as well, and take that belly button down. Hold that position. We're going to move through a few snow angels with our arms. We're going to keep our palms facing the screen or the ceiling now, excuse me. Take those hands up a little bit farther off the floor. Inhale. As we exhale, we're going to bring our arms out on a T. They could be along the mat or they could be slightly up higher if you get a catch in your chest or shoulders. We're going to exhale, bring those arms down by our sides. Inhale, arms out to the sides onto the T. Exhale them overhead. Inhale them out to the sides. Exhale them down. Again, inhale, arms out. Exhale overhead. Inhale, arms out to the T. Exhale them down. One more time through. Inhale, arms out to the sides. Exhale overhead. Inhale, arms out to the sides. Let's exhale them down to our trunk. Flip those palms over. Let those hands rest into the floor. Again, we're going to widen the collarbones away from the middle of the body. Inch those heels a little closer to our bottoms. And the goal here would be to have those shins just shy of vertical. Heels are slightly forward of those knees. Big breath in. As we drive our heels into the mat, we're going to tighten our bellies, lift those glutes toward the ceiling. Inhale at the top, Exhale, bridging down. Let's repeat at your own pace. What we're going for here is a stretch through the hips at the top of the motion, some activation in those glutes, and maybe a little stretch all the way to those kneecaps as we reach our kneecaps toward the wall in front of us. If you feel compression in your back, I want you to draw the belly down a little further and maybe not take yourself up so high. Let's hold our next bridge at the top of your motion, whatever feels like the best position you can maintain. And we're gonna rock those hips side to side. Let's take that hip closest to the screen, lower it toward the floor, keeping the other side lifted. Feel that glute working especially hard on the side that's lifted up. Inhale back to neutral, exhale, lower that other hip. Inhale to neutral, exhale and switch. Inhale to neutral, exhale and switch. Let's take that side to side rotating through that long axis of the body. Here's 8, switch for 7, 6, 5, here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take those hips to the middle, big breath in, exhale, bridging down. Release those glutes at the bottom, rock those knees side to side as we take a big breath in through the nose and a big breath out through the mouth. Go ahead and take it right back to the middle, breathe in again. Exhaling, we'll bridge up to the top. Keep those hips lifted. Let's go up and down on our toes. Heels lift up, heels press down. Lift and lower. Keep thinking about reaching those glutes a little higher toward the ceiling as we go. Lift and lower for 8, 7, 6, 5. Last 4, squeeze those glutes. Here's 3, 2, and 1. Heels come down, breathe it in, exhale, bridging down. Release those glutes at the bottom. Let's take a big breath in, take a big breath out. Reset that belly down toward the spine, bridge it up again and hold. Keeping those feet pressed into the floor. We're gonna keep the base of the big toe, the base of the pinky, and those heels anchored into the mat. Knee closest to the screen is gonna open out to the side. Take it back to the middle. Opposite knee opens, bring it to the center. And let's alternate side to side, keeping those hips lifted. If you want to make this more challenging, float those arms to the ceiling and drop your shoulder blades a little closer to the floor. Let's take both knees out and in. Here's 8, 7, 6. We'll butterfly bridge. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hips to the center, breathing in. Exhale, bridge it down. Release the glutes when that tailbone touches the mat. Arc the arms to the floor if they've been lifted, and we rock our knees side to side for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Let's take them right back to the center. We're gonna bridge up and we'll conclude our marching portion with, or our bridging portion, excuse me, I got ahead of myself, with a march. We're gonna lift those hips, drive your heels through the floor. Let's lift one knee to tabletop and then back down. Switch it up, opposite knee lifts, float it back down. Let's take them side to side for 6, for 5, for 4. Nice work. Here's 3. Here's 2. And 1. Press that foot into the floor. We'll take an inhale. As we exhale, let's lower that body down to the mat, releasing the glutes at the bottom. Wiggle it around. Take a big breath in through the nose. Big breath out through the mouth. Let's cross one ankle over to the opposite knee. If you'd like, you can lift that opposite knee up into a figure 4 stretch. We can draw the body away from that crossed over side, getting into that rotating area a little bit more. Big breath in. On the exhale, let's switch it up. Feet to the floor, cross that opposite leg over. Draw the other knee into the chest if you'd like. And let's rock the body away from that cross leg side. Feel those deeper muscles in the hip open up. Big breath in. Exhaling, let's come back to the center. We'll uncross those legs, give those knees a hug. Take those feet to the floor, and with our hands by our sides, let's straighten out both legs as best we can onto the mat. Once you're there, if you feel like it's real hard to control that arch, you are welcome to bend your knees. Otherwise, I want you to take the belly and the low back, press them down toward the floor. We're gonna keep the heels of our hands right at those hip bones, and our fingertips are gonna rest right by that pubic bone. Keeping that area and your hands nice and still, we're gonna lift one foot up and down, and then the other. Lift and lower. If your knees are bent, it's gonna look like a march. Same idea though, we wanna keep that pelvis nice and still. Switch them off for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a big breath in, relax, And as we exhale, we're going to turn and make our way over to hands and knees. If you need a little more padding, feel free to double up your mat. We'll get our hands lined up underneath those shoulders, knees lined up underneath the hips, just like we did in the beginning of class. Belly stays drawn in. Let's work through some shoulder blade push-ups. We're going to keep our elbows nice and straight. Squeeze the blades together. Press the blades toward the floor. Squeeze them together. Press them to the floor. Keep that going. I'm going to tuck my shirt in so you can see what my whole trunk is doing. I'm keeping myself as still as I can, keeping that belly drawn up to my spine for 4. Squeeze and press for 3. Here's 2. And here's 1. Hold that forward press. Take the hand closest to the screen up to your thigh. We'll repeat on single arm. Squeeze and press. If you do find that you need more support after the first few, feel free to bring that second arm down. Squeeze and press for 2. And 1. We'll switch off if we've been on single arm. Opposite hand to the thigh. Squeeze and press. We're going to go for 6. For 5. Keep those shoulders facing the floor. Press for 3, for 2, and for 1. Let's take that second hand down, hold it where it is. We can turn those toes under. Let's see if we can press the balls of the feet into the floor. Press those big toes down. Bring your heels a little closer to each other. You might get a little stretch through the calves here. We're going to keep that belly drawn in. And just like we did at the beginning of class, we're going to rock the bottom back to the heels and take ourselves back to all fours. If you had something balanced in the small of your back, this would let you keep that balanced as that bottom rocks back and forth. Let's take it back up to hands and knees. What if we press through those toes and think about unweighting the knees just briefly, and then take them back down. Press and unweight, take them back down. Press and weight. If you can hold it here. We're going to shift our weight side to side. If you need your knees down, that's completely fine. Shift it side to side toward the screen and away. Take them back to the middle. We'll take those knees down, turn the tops of the feet to the floor again. And let's slide the leg closest to the screen back behind the body and the opposite arm forward. Hold it there. We're going to wiggle that straight leg side to side. Just draw a little small line on the wall behind you. Good. Switch them up. Opposite leg back. Take the other arm forward. Find your balance point. And let's wiggle that straight leg. Draw the line on the wall behind you. Take it back down. Let's shift the body away from our screen. What if we lift that leg back and take the same side arm forward? We could start by coming up onto the fingertips. Take that arm forward if you can. Again, what if we take that leg side to side? Feels a little different with that narrow base of support. All right, let's take that hand down. If it's been lifted, we'll switch, shift the weight to the other side. Slide that other leg back. Let's come up onto the fingertips or take the arm forward, and we'll see if we can bring that leg side to side. It's quite a weight shift toward the screen. All right, let's take our hand down. Let's take our knee down. Wag that tail side to side. Shake out your wrists if you need to. And let's come down onto our forearms. Forearms are parallel to each other. Head is lower than your hips. If you need to double up your fists to support your head, that's fine to do so. We're going to keep our knees bent, and let's take that leg closest to the screen, up and down. Lift and lower. Keep it going. Lift and lower. We're going to lift it up, press, hold, straighten and bend. Heel to the bottom. Twice more. Keep the rest of the body nice and still. Flex your foot as we bend the knee again. Press up and down for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Float that side down. Stretch that other leg up. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. You might be constrained more by the tightness in the front of the hip than anything going on in your glutes. Try to keep that back nice and still, no matter how high you can lift that leg. Press and hold, straighten and bend. Heel to the bottom. Here's 3. Here's 2. Here's 1. Last time. Straighten, bend that knee, flex the foot, pulse up and down for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's take that knee down. We're going to bring our feet together, our knees apart. Draw your bottom back towards your heels, and let's walk those hands toward the front of our mat. Take a big breath in. Exhale, drop that forehead down. Good. Big breath in again. On that exhale, we can bend our elbows, walk them a little closer to our knees. We're going to take the hand farthest from the screen, reach it under. We're going to thread the needle. We're going to take that hand between our elbow and our shoulder and our knee on the supported side. Reach that hand toward the screen. We're crossing that arm across the body. Drop that shoulder toward the floor. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, we'll unwind. We'll bring that arm forward again. Take that hand closest to the screen, thread it through. Reach it toward the opposite wall, dropping that shoulder down as well. You should feel a stretch on the outside of your arm. And if you look over that shoulder, you'll feel a little stretch along that rib cage, that side of the rib cage as well. Big breath in. Exhale. Let's come up. We'll reach that arm forward again. One more big breath here. As we exhale, walk your hands towards your screen. We'll pause in a bit of a side bend. Breathe it in, feeling the stretch from your armpit, maybe all the way down toward that rib cage in your waist. Exhaling, let's walk our hands to the other side. Pause, hand over hand in that side bend. Take a big breath in. Exhaling, let's walk those hands forward. We're gonna come up nice and tall. One more cat and cow here. Curl it up, reverse that curve. Take it back to neutral, and we're gonna come forward, taking a seat on our mat. Let's bring those feet out in front of us toward a narrow V. We're gonna try to be up as tall through our trunk and pelvis as we can. So we're settling our weight in right over the front of our sit bones. Straighten the knees as best you can, but not at the expense of slouching back. We wanna stay upright. And let's take our hands up on that same narrow V. Belly stays drawn in, and we're gonna hinge forward. Reach those fingertips long past your feet. Hold, and then come up nice and tall. Hinge forward. Take it up. Try to keep that back still. We're moving from our hips. It might be a fraction of an inch that we move. I can pretty much guarantee you're gonna feel some sort of a stretch going on behind those thighs. We're gonna pause in that little hinge. Let's take our hands down to our legs wherever they rest. Keep that belly drawn in, and we'll bring our hands to the leg closest to our screen. Open that arm out to the side. Let's sweep those hands through to the other leg. Open that opposite arm. Take it back to the foot. Switch them again. The hands could be on the feet. They could be on your shins. They might be on your knee. Depends on how mobile that lower body's feeling right now. Switch and reach. Let's take ourselves right back to the center. We'll come up nice and tall. Let's bring those feet in. Shake your knees out a bit, and we're gonna bend up those knees, lining our heels up with our sit bones. Let's hold on behind those thighs like we're holding a beach ball. Angle back just slightly. If you take your hands away from your thighs, you should feel that trunk area working. Arms are out in a narrow V, and we're gonna tip our legs toward one side, toward the other. Bring those knees toward the screen and away. Everything else stays nice and still, pointing directly ahead. Side to side with the knees. Take them back to the middle. Let's hang on behind our thighs. Come up onto the toes. Bring those feet a little closer to your bottom. Let's straighten and bend one knee. Straighten and bend the other. Find a range you can work through, keeping that back nice and still. Maybe the legs straighten. Maybe they have a little bend in them. It's okay. We can challenge it further by taking our hands away from our legs. And even further by raising those arms up, making those upper abdominals work a little more. Alternate the legs for 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna grab onto those shins, come up nice and tall. Cat and cow, curl and release. Let's come up nice and tall. Let's take our hands back behind the body. Press those palms into the floor. Turn the fingers out if it's real hard to extend those elbows and squeeze those blades with the hands facing forward. We could inch that bottom forward a little closer to our heels. Feel that stretch through the upper arm and through the chest. We could inch those feet forward a bit more. As we extend our breastbone up toward the top corner of the room, take a big breath. If you feel like you can expand your chest fully without feeling like you need to contract or bend those elbows, you're welcome to take it a step further for our final 3 breaths in this position. We could lift that bottom up to a reverse tabletop. You decide how high that bottom wants to lift. Inhale and exhale. Again, big breath in. Breathe it out. One more time, big breath in. Exhaling, let's slowly bring that bottom down. We'll turn and face our screen. If you can get cross-legged, go ahead and go for it. If that doesn't feel like a great option for you, you're welcome to bring your feet out in front of you. We're gonna, again, go for that vertical alignment at the trunk. Let's sit up right in the front of our sit bones again. We're gonna take those arms out to the sides. Big breath in. Exhaling, let's take a side bend. We're gonna tip those fingertips toward the floor. Reach those other arms up and over. Excuse me. Let's inhale up tall. And exhale, side bend the other way. Touch those pinkies, reach that opposite arm over. Inhale up. One more time to each side. Side bend and reach. Inhale up. And again, side bend and reach. Inhale up tall. Those arms are out to the sides. We're going to keep those hands slightly forward of our trunk. Let's squeeze those blades, pulse the hands back for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Breathe it in. Exhale, bringing those arms down, and let's come up into a kneeling position. Double your mat over or grab your towel roll if you need a little extra padding under those knees. We're going to keep those thighs parallel to each other. Let's sweep those arms up and overhead. And again, just like we did in sitting, we're going to take some side bends. Take them through at your own speed. Picture a tree swaying in the breeze. Pause at one side. We're going to drop that arm down. Reach those fingertips to the floor as the opposite arm reaches up and over. Inhale up tall. Belly stays drawn in. Exhale, side bend, and draw that arm down by the sides, reaching those fingertips to the floor. Let's inhale up tall. We'll take those arms forward and then down to our hips. Let's bring one leg out to the side, straighten up the knee, drop that hip to the floor. We're going to hinge forward, find that inner thigh stretch, and then come up tall. Again, hinge it forward. Bring it up. Twice more, hinge and lift. Squeeze through that glute on the bent knee side. Let's take it up. Arms come out to the side. Big breath in. Exhale, side bend. Reach that arm up. Maybe we take our foot away from the floor. Reverse it. Side bend and reach. And reverse. Twice more. Side bend, reach. Up and over. And last one, side bend, reach. Up and over. Let's come up nice and tall and let's switch our sides. We'll take our hands back to the hips, extend that opposite leg out and drop that hip down to the floor. Hinge forward into that inner thigh stretch. Take it up nice and tall, squeeze that supporting glute. Hinge it forward. Bring it up. Twice more, hinge, crown of the head toward that screen. Inhale up, hinge it forward. Take it up tall, arms out to the side, big breath in. Exhale, side bend, reach. Up and over. Side bend and reach. Take it up. Last two, side bend, reach. Up and over. Last time, side bend, reach. Up and over with that body. Come up nice and tall. Let's roll those shoulders back as we come back to our tall kneeling. Here's 3, 2, and 1. Let's make our way down onto our sides. We're going to bend up those knees, line our heels up with our sit bones, and rest that head on that lower arm. We'll take our top hand, press it into the floor, and lift our knees up and down. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees come down. Lift those feet, and we'll take that top knee up and down. 3. Keep that trunk pulled in, belly draw into the spine. Last one. Feet come down, top leg lifts up and down, fire hydrants. 3. Press that bottom knee into the floor. And 1. Back to hip height. Hinge the knee forward. Press it back with a bent knee. Hinge and press. Twice more. Last one. Press it back, small circles. Keep that knee bent. Here's 4. Stir that hip in its socket. 2. And 1. Other direction. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that top knee in line with the bottom knee. Straighten that bottom leg. We'll touch our toes to the bottom knee. Top knee comes down and up for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knee to hip height. Bring that opposite heel up to meet the knee. Fire hydrant lifts, bottom knee straight. 4, 3. Feel that hip working. And 1. Back to hip height. Straighten out that top leg. We're going to take it up and down for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Back to hip height. Top hand to the floor. We'll finish up by bringing that bottom leg up and down for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Take that top knee down. Bend up those knees, pat that hip out. All right, we'll take a couple deep breaths as we come up and over to our other side. Let's rest that other ear on that lower arm. Knees are forward, heels line up with the bottom. Belly stays drawn in, and we press that top hand into the floor. Knees come up and down for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees come down, feet lift up, hold them there. Top knee raises and lowers for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Feet come down, fire hydrant lifts up and down for 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Top knee hinges forward and back for 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Press that leg back. Small circles move out of that hip joint. Here's 4, 3, 2. Reverse. Up, back, and down for 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Line up that top leg with the bottom one. Straighten the bottom leg out. Bring the top foot to the bottom knee. Top knee comes down and up for 4. Press the bottom leg up, down into the floor. 3, 4. Top knee back to hip height. Lift the foot up to meet the knee. Fire hydrants. 3. Press the bottom leg down. And 1. Straighten that top leg out. Take it up and down. Here's 3. Here's 2. Here's 1. Bring it back to hip height. Bottom leg comes up and down. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring them both down. Bend up those knees. Pat that top hip out. Nice work. Let's turn on to our backs. We're going to flatten those feet into the floor. Bring those arms out from the side, out to the sides. Take the knees side to side toward the screen and away. Take a few deep breaths here, just easing into that lying down position. Let those hips rise up if they feel good doing so. Bring those knees back to the middle. Cross one ankle to the opposite knee. We could lift up into that figure 4 stretch. We'll need it after working that whole clamshell series. Take a big breath in. Exhaling, let's take those feet back down to the floor. Uncross them, take that other ankle to your knee, and pull the knee in. Take a breath. Exhale. Let's take those feet back to the floor. We're going to turn ourselves over to hands and knees. Once we're there, let's take a few cats and cows. Curl and release. Come back to neutral. Wag that tail side to side. Take it back to neutral. Let's turn those toes under. Walk ourselves back over those feet. Once our weight's over the front of that ankle joint, we can take ourselves up to standing. We'll finish with a little balancing. So if you need something to hold on to that's still, go ahead and find that now. We're going to line up those heels with our hips. Lift those toes, spread them apart, and take them down one at a time. Pinky first, finishing with that big toe. Soften up your knees. Let's take our hands right to the sides of the hips, and we're going to stick that bottom back a little bit, make ourselves come into a little mini squat. Shift the weight from foot to foot, pushing the floor away with your hands and feet, excuse me, not with your hands. All right, as you shift one foot to the other, you should feel those glutes kicking into your fingertips. You'll feel some muscles tightening up around the back of that hip. We're going to come right to the middle again and then come up nice and tall. Arms to the sides. Let's stand heel to toe. Find your balance point. And if you want to challenge it further, close your eyes. Open them up. Switch. Opposite foot forward. Find your balance point. And if you want to take it further, close your eyes again. When you close your eyes, those feet have to do a little more work. All right, let's switch. Take those feet apart. We're going to switch to single leg balance. Get your weight over one side, lift that opposite foot up, and we're just going to shift toward the toes and toward the heels. Shift for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Take it right back to the middle. If you want to take it further, close your eyes. Hold for 3, for 2, And for 1, let's switch our legs. Find your weight right over the front of that ankle joint. Lift up into single leg balance. And we can shift forward and back. Shift for 4. For 3. For 2. For 1. Take it back to the center. Close your eyes if you can. Hold for 3. We can open the eyes for 2. And for 1. Let's take those feet down. Shake your knees out a bit. With our hands on our hips, we can shake those hips in circles as well. Did a lot of work through those abs and through those glutes today. Pause it right in the middle. Turn those toes out. Soften up your knees. And we'll finish with a big breath in. Arms come up. Let's place those palms toward each other as we bring our feet together. We'll inhale one more time, reaching those fingertips to the ceiling. And then let's breathe out as we bring our hands to our center. Have a great weekend.